Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into, well, just one source really, an album review, but we're using it like a keyhole, to get a look at this huge cultural landscape of independent hip-hop.
That's right. We're focusing on a review of the album 800 Art by Boro Hall. It was published on the Hip Hop On Deck website.
And the idea is to pull out the core insights, not just about the album itself, but about the whole structure an independent artist needs today, their identity, their discipline.
And the whole cultural ecosystem they operate in. It's more than just the music.
Exactly. And what jumped out immediately is how the source describes Boro Hall. He calls him a bridge in hip-hop, which sounds, wow, really interesting.
Yeah, it implies he's connecting something. The past and the present, maybe.
Precisely. The authenticity of the past with, the need to be relevant today. We're looking at how he pulls off this total creative freedom while still honoring his roots.
So yeah, we're not just listing tracks here. We're analyzing a kind of strategic blueprint. This deep dive really shows how an artist's commitment to tradition, plus this pretty rare level of independence and discipline.
That becomes the thing that lets them connect, right? With both the old school heads and the listeners now.
Exactly. That's the core of it.
Okay, so let's unpack this, starting with the foundation. The source makes Boro Hall's roots super clear. He's rooted firmly in the streets of Brooklyn.
Right, and that immediately connects him to that classic Brooklyn hip-hop tradition.
Which isn't just about geography, is it? It's like
Yeah.
a pedigree. Sets expectations. You expect grit, lyricism.
That boom-bap energy, yeah.
Yeah.
But what's really compelling is how those deep roots didn't make him dependent on labels or, outside producers.
It actually pushed him towards independence.
Seems like it. The review highlights something critical. He's both the MC and the producer.
Okay. That dual role, that's huge, especially now.
It is. Think about it. You're not waiting on anyone's schedule. You don't have to fit someone else's style. You're not limited by their budget for beats.
It means the words and the music come from the exact same place. One vision.
It's more than just convenience, though. It feels like it's about creative purity. When the writing, the production, the whole vision is self-contained, you skip all those compromises that usually happen.
Right, when you bring in more people, more opinions.
Exactly. And think about the financial side, too. Controlling costs, controlling the sound. But, it does raise a question.
Which is?
Well, if you're wearing every single hat, who's pushing you? Who gives you that pressure to evolve or change things up?
Good point. So his own personal discipline has to be, incredibly strong.
Crucial, yeah. And that kind of pressure, the self-imposed kind, leads us right to the album title, 800 Art.
800 Art, okay. Sounds like just a time, maybe 8 o'clock. But the source gives it this really layered, almost philosophical meaning.
It really is layered. The review points out it signifies two things at once. First, yeah, it could be a time of reflection, like a specific moment set aside, maybe after the day's hustle, to unwind or think.
Okay.
But maybe more profoundly, it defines art itself as a discipline, or even a ritual.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because we often think of creativity as spontaneous, right?
Yeah.
Inspiration strikes whenever.
Right. The muse hits at 3 a.m., that whole idea.
But Boro Hall seems to be suggesting structure, like almost a schedule, clockwork.
Maybe dedicating a fixed time, maybe it is 8:00 p.m. every night, just to work on the craft, methodically.
I like that. It flips the script from waiting for inspiration to just showing up discipline first.
That's the nugget, I think. Consistent, methodical input leads to reliable output. Understanding that title really is key to understanding his whole approach, isn't it?
Yeah, it tells you his success isn't just luck or hustle. It's this rigorous, scheduled, artistic ritual designed to keep the music moving forward. So if that's the engine, this rigid 8 o'clock structure, what kind of stuff does that machine put out? That gets us into the art of the bridge, right?
Precisely, because Boro Hall is doing this delicate balancing act, trying to satisfy two pretty different audiences.
Audiences that usually pull in opposite directions.
Often, yeah. First, he needs to deliver that nostalgia for the old school purists, the ones demanding that authentic, gritty Brooklyn sound we talked about.
I got it. Camp number one.
But at the same time, he has to maintain relevance for contemporary listeners. People consuming music very differently now, streaming, social media. Maybe they're used to trap influences.
Okay, yeah. That is the ultimate creative tightrope walk.
Wow.
It really is. You can't sound totally dated like it's straight from 95.
But you also can't sound too slick and commercial, or you lose the people who miss that raw feel.
And this is where that independence comes back in. It's not just a preference. It feels like a necessary tool for him.
Because he's the MC and the producer. Yes. He can fine-tune that blend himself. For instance, maybe he uses a classic boom-bap drum pattern, keeps the purists happy, but layers it with, I don't know, modern synth pads or complex sub-bass that catches the contemporary ear.
That kind of blending.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need total control over the mix for that.
Yeah.
If you had to send tracks off to someone else, an outside producer or an A&R.
They might push it too far one way or the other. Break the bridge, like you said.
Right.
His control over the writing and production lets him make those tiny adjustments in real time. Make sure the gritty story fits with a sound that feels both familiar and forward-looking.
So the independence is what actually allows him to manage that tension between the old and the new without watering it down.
Perfectly put. His total control MC, producer, writer, vision, that's the toolkit for managing that creative tension.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, let's pivot a bit. Let's talk about the ecosystem where this review actually lives. The music's great, the discipline's key, but what about the culture around the Hip on Deck website? What does that tell us about what relevance even means today?
Right, the context is important. And looking at the content around the Boro Hall piece on Hip Hop on Deck, or HHOD, it tells you that hip-hop culture, as they see it, is way broader than just beats and rhymes.
Wider scope.
Definitely. Their mission statement says they're dedicated to the latest news, music, and culture. They want to be a resource for fans to engage, connect, stay in the know, basically build a community around the entire world of hip-hop.
That phrase, entire world of hip-hop, feels key. Because when you look at what else is on the site, alongside the Boro Hall review, it's a really wide mix, isn't it?
It really is. Legends and newcomers side by side.
Give us some examples.
Sure. In the music sections, you've got the whole spectrum, like brand new releases, Cure's Thoughtbox Freestyle showing current trends, then collaborations like DJ Premier and Ransom working together, which speaks to that classic production legacy.
Yeah, so new stuff, legacy stuff.
And critically, features on foundational figures, like Big L promoting the Harlem's Finest Return of the King album. So HHOD is clearly rooted in the history, but it's also embracing what's happening right now.
But then the scope just kind of explodes, right? When you look beyond the music reviews to the culture and personal stories, it's not just rap stuff, it's life stuff.
Exactly. Take the feature on Ashley Monroe. It talks about her journey from working at Walmart to becoming a major model. That's already interesting.
Yeah.
But it also includes her talking really candidly about surviving Hurricane Rita and dealing with FEMA afterwards. That's heavy, real-life experience.
Wow. Okay. And there was another one, too.
Yeah, a really personal interview with DC Youngfly talking openly about being sober now. The headline was something like, "I don't need to be high to be funny."
So connecting all those dots, what picture does that paint?
It paints hip-hop as this central, comprehensive culture. It's the lens through which people are discussing career changes, social commentary like disaster relief and government response, and these really critical personal issues like mental health and sobriety.
So for an artist like Boro Hall, or any independent artist trying to be relevant in that landscape, just having a modern sound isn't enough.
Doesn't seem like it. Your music somehow needs to connect to these broader, lived experiences that the community is talking about.
Your relevance is measured by how you fit into that whole dialogue, which include sobriety, career changes, surviving disasters.
Exactly. And this whole context, this ecosystem, it actually validates Boro Hall's approach, doesn't it? He's bridging tradition and relevance. And the culture around him shows that relevance now means engaging with personal struggles, social issues, the whole lot.
And if you have that creative control, that 800 art discipline,
you can make sure your music actually reflects that complexity, the complexity Hip Hop on Deck is covering.
Okay, so let's try and summarize the key takeaways here for you, the listener. Boro Hall seems to represent this convergence point. You've got the deep tradition, those Brooklyn roots meeting this fully realized, independent artistry.
And symbolized by that methodical, disciplined nature of 8.00 art. He uses his complete creative control to be the bridge between the old-school purists and the modern listeners.
And this isn't happening in isolation.
No, definitely not. It's celebrated within a culture shown by Hip Hop on Deck that sees hip-hop as this huge, expansive thing. It covers music, sure, but also social commentary, personal stories of transition, survival.
So success today isn't just talent. It's discipline to produce consistently and the insight to address that whole breadth of the culture.
Yeah, that seems to be the picture.
So the big question then is, what does this complete creative control, this hyper-discipline, mean for hip-hop going forward? It suggests the artist needs to be truly multidimensional.
Controlling the beat, the rhymes, the narrative, the whole package, from, their neighborhood block in Brooklyn right out to global consumption.
Discipline becomes the new currency, maybe.
It seems crucial. While collaboration's still vital, maybe the artists who really manage that entire life cycle, production, writing, story, are the ones best placed to keep that bridge between nostalgia and relevance strong.
Okay, so since Boro Hall bridges the old and new, and the website covers everything from Big L's legacy to discussions about sobriety, let's leave you with a final thought to chew on. Which element is more essential for an independent artist's long-term success today? Is it the ritualistic, almost clockwork discipline of 800 art that Boro Hall embodies?
Or is it that expansive, total cultural scope of the newsfeed, the kind that HHAD champions, covering everything life throws at you? Which one matters more right now?